Cecile, you got to start?
Oh, I can start. Okay. Yeah. So, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining, and thank you very much, and congratulations to the Laval organization team to set it up quickly. So, I'm Cecile from HP. I'm XR Business Development Manager, and I'm happy to start this tech talk. We will share with you some of our stunning VR use cases and our strategy on XR for today and tomorrow. So I'm happy to co-present this talk with my colleagues and partners. So I would just ask each of you to have a quick introduction. So maybe Joanna. Start.
Hello, I'm Joanna Popper. I am so happy to be here today in France. And through the power of technology, I was not able to fly to Laval Virtual this year. And so I'm actually in the United States, but through the power of technology and Verbella to be here with you all, enjoying this great conference where we get to be in conference rooms and go to the beach and really get to connect all around the world. So excited to talk to you all and excited to be here with our great partners.
Cool, maybe to you.
Yeah, thank you, Cecile, for the invitation. So I'm Comte de Serres, and I'm in charge of business development for the Eurescue business unit at Wanadev, which is a French company specialized in virtual reality based in Lyon. Thank you very much.
Matteo.
So much. Thank you, Cecile. I'm Matteo Cordua. I'm an HoloLens and virtual reality evangelist in Evolus Innovation. We are specialized in virtual reality stores and concepts. So on.
Thank you. So we also have, we will welcome our partner Stephen from SIA. I believe that TNT, the West Coast, will come a bit later during the presentation. So let's go quickly through the agenda. So I will go through our strategy and portfolio on XR, and over to Joanna that will bring you an overview of what XR is for us today and what we be into for tomorrow. And then we hand over to our partners. So Matteo from Evolus will share an immersive experience in store. Com will share how fire workers can be trained in VR. And Stephen will share very impressive photorealistic immersive architecture reviews. And then we'll have a Q&A at the end for sure. So quickly on the on our strategy for us, for HP XR is one of our biggest strategic initiatives because we consider it is the next computing evolution. We had the PCs, we had the mobile revolution, and we clearly see XR as the next revolution that will be as big as mobile was at the time it was launched. And if you even foresee in longer time, we see in the near future bigger revolution coming where the we will changing the human interface to organic interface, and in a longer future having potentially all the PC completely disappearing at some point when people will be connected as a service to devices that would be close to the eye. So that's why XR is so important for us. HP is a company that has never stopped innovating since it's been created, and we continue to innovate, and we innovate in XR because it's clearly the new computing revolution that's going on. We position XR in the business, mainly for business environment, and we are the one-stop trusted partner for companies that are doing XR. When you look at the businesses, we know very much all what the corporate and the companies are looking for in terms of computing. They are looking for customer experience. optimize investment, and they also want to shorten their development cycle. And with our solution, we offer professional security, manageability, and reliability, which is traditionally something we offer on our PCs, and we extend to XR, and we also provide worldwide availability and support. So that's clearly where we focus. So VR for professional usage, and we have seen that VR really works in training. It allows to do safer and repeatable training for high-risk situation, for example, and overall it brings 90% retention rate versus usually 5% when you do a lecture. On architecture and product development, we see a lot of our customers that are using VR for faster design iteration or more compelling and executive client presentation. We did a survey asking for our architectural customer if they are using VR or considering VR. 65% of the architecture firm we asked were considering VR. So it's really something that is expanding rapidly and becoming the mainstream of their workflow. Similarly on healthcare, helping to get better training. And on location-based entertainment, VR is representing 40% of the growth expected in this business for 2023. So clearly VR is becoming big, and it's big in the business side. At the end, every company has a reason to use VR. That's where we see the vast majority of business: location-based entertainment, training, architecture, product development, and healthcare. And what is our solution? As the one-stop trusted partner, we offer the full solution. So we have on the market the most comprehensive professional VR portfolio with towers, notebooks, backpacks, and headsets. We also combine with a recommended software partners program, which provide a list of recommended solutions that we have tested and validated to be the best in class in each of their solutions, which allow us to build up a performance and professional VR solution. So what means professional VR solution? Of course, that no motion sickness, but also having professional assets that company will look for. So it's a global availability, manageability, security, and professional quality. So 24 hours, 7 days reliability. So just briefly going on our VR stars. So we launched last year HP Reverb, the professional edition, which is ultralight with twice the clarity. So you have resolution of 2160 by 2160 per eye. It's ultra sleek and ultra light, 3% lighter than the market. And it's worry-free deployment. So that was a great success this year. 100% engineered in our R&D labs. We also have launched the backpack Gen 2, which is a powerful, versatile, and made for commercial VR. So it's equipped with the RTX 2080, so the most powerful graphic cards to run VR. It's optimized for free roaming because you can use it on the back, but it's also including a complete commercial package. So you can also use it as a development tower, create VR. So that was what was launched last year. Something new that we announced 1 week ago, we are launching, and it's coming very soon in a couple of months, the ultimate VR mobile PC to experience and to create VR on the fly. So the HP ZBook Create Notebook PC would be the world's smallest 15-inch laptop for creation and gaming. So super powerful with pro-grade workstation performance with GeForce. And also, as you can look at the picture, we make it meaningful design with nearly borderless screen, lightweight aluminum. It's equipped with all the performance you can get on a workstation, thin and light and stylish. coming with the Dream Color display, 1 billion of screen colors. And we also made a lot of engineering inside the chassis to make it quiet and cool. So we have vapor chamber, heating, we have quiet keyboards, everything to make it really professional, super thin, super light, and getting the performance to run VR. So stay tuned, this is coming very soon. It's a great asset addition, adding to our portfolio, which is already very large. And of course, I mentioned our partners because VR is not only hardware, it's mainly software. So I show some of them and I invited our friends as well. So you see, we are building up a list of recommended software partners to help our customer to produce the best experience in VR. That's what we have today. Let me hand over now to Joanna. She will talk more on XR trend today and tomorrow.
Great, thank you, Cecile. Great job. So today we're in a very unusual situation, and we first always like to think about recognizing all of the healthcare workers, the government workers, the essential workers, and connecting and thinking about HP that is in our 81st anniversary and has been focused ever since the founders created the company in the garage in Palo Alto, bringing forth the founding of Silicon Valley when they were working together with Walt Disney to create technology for the movie Fantasia. And since then, we've been focused on inventing and reinventing technology and the future. And very focused on how we can use the technology to create human experiences, to improve upon our human experiences, and improve upon our lives at work and at home and beyond. And so immediately when the crisis that we're in now started, our engineers, our model labs, people all throughout the company immediately turned to how do we use this technology to improve upon the current situation and recognize and honor those who are out there working so diligently to keep us safe. And so we tapped into our 3D printing technology, and some of the people in the model lab immediately started creating some 3D printed solutions to help the healthcare workers. And so here you see some examples of what was created for masks. We create for pieces for respirators. There were door handle openers to keep you safe. The door handle created, and so HP created this technology and is offering it to up to hospitals through our 3D printing partner network. So you can go on our site, and if your hospital sign up to receive some of these items and to learn more about it. And if you have an idea of something that you think should be created, you can also submit that there. So that's a beautiful example of using the technology, with the immediacy of what is happening right now, and how do we use the technology to keep moving us forward. Another example of where we're focused on our technology for today and in this situation, we have a product called HP Z Central. And Z Central allows you to remote into your workstation from anywhere in the world. And so we're offering that up for a 90-day free trial right now to try out the software to help your businesses stay up and running in a moment where so many of us are working from home and not able to access the high performance power of the computers that we have at work. But through Z Central, you can do that. And then a third program that we're offering, there was an immediate shift where from the more traditional methodology of education and schooling, where everyone gets up or most people get up and go to school, all of a sudden educators and students going into an immediate shift where they're having to adapt quickly to remote education. And so the data we've had in the US was about 30% of the students don't have PCs that are capable to run the remote collaboration tools needed. And so we rolled out a program called HP Refresh, which is a software that modernizes a PC, whether it's an older PC, whether it's HP or not HP, to be able to use the remote collaboration tools that the schools are using today. So all of this is available on our website, and just very proud of the company that we were able to tap into so many of our resources and make, create these initiatives that are so useful in the world today. So now shifting back into some of the things that we're doing on the virtual reality side, we have seen virtual reality as a great, as many of you all do, I'm sure here at Laval Virtual, as a great tool to help you collaborate, to create, and to learn. And this has been our focus for a long time. And today, with the remote work that people are doing, and the remote studying that we're doing, the remote creation that we're doing, we're seeing kind of the rest of the world start to catch up with those of us who are in the immersive computing and virtual reality world. And so the tools that Cecile talked about, the HP Reverb and all of the other tools are a perfect platform to help you create, collaborate, and learn. And so we ourselves at HP have been thinking a lot about and working with both our partners as well as ourselves at the company about when does it make sense to be collaborating in VR, and when does it make sense to use another format. And so, and many of these companies are presenting here today. I just watched Engage present, and there was somebody from AltSpace, and Alina just did a great presentation on these tools as well. So what we have found is that the key moments that it makes sense today to collaborate in virtual reality are when you're going to be accessing 3D or spatial models for accelerating product reviews or efficiencies. And we have Stephen here from FEA who's going to talk deeply about that, as well as some of our other partners today. And so, when you and our own teams at HP, our industrial design teams, both on the PC side as well as on the print side, are starting to tap into this. In the normal environment, when they're doing design reviews for our new products, they would probably go into a private room, no phones allowed, no pictures allowed, and they'd be able to do quality reviews, product reviews, and get to a great product. But today, of course, everyone is working remotely, and they're trying to figure out how can they still achieve these results and even better results in virtual reality. Our partners will show some ways that they are able to really decrease, improve efficiencies and improve timelines by doing product reviews in virtual reality. So that is one bucket that today, with the technology we have today, with the tools we have today, that it absolutely makes a lot of sense to do product design reviews and work pipelines in virtual reality. A second example is when learning through spatial or 3D models is going to improve upon the retention and then the ultimate performance. And so this is very applicable across education, whether it's in physical sciences like biology or anatomy or chemistry. We're seeing the objects in spatial, spatial computing helps the retention or helps the students' understanding. The frog dissection is a famous example that many people know that Victory VR is doing with Engage. Another example for this would be in enterprise use cases. So we're going to learn about how firefighters are tapping into this in a little bit, and there's really strong, it's very, very meaningful in the firefighter case or in any first responder or military situation, because you're putting people into potentially unsafe situations. The data I saw recently was that there are actually 17% of firefighters that lose their lives during training. And so it's incredibly important to create safer environments for them. And so virtual reality is the perfect place to to learn and have the firefighter in this case get up to speed in a safe environment. So then when they go into a real life environment, their knowledge is already very high. So we'll learn more about that a little later. And then the third bucket that makes a lot of sense is when the interactivity or the immersion really enhances the experience. So we know last night I was doing social VR, for example, with a bunch of friends from around the world, and we were in alt space, and we were able to fly. Now, today, in any world, whether we come together or not, I am not able to fly. So that experience of virtual reality of that type of interaction really enhances the overall experience. We've also been doing these virtual reality hangouts at work, because today we're not able to have that water cooler experience that people who normally go to offices have. And so we go into rec room and VR chat and places like that, and play ping pong and basketball, and really have these interactive experiences that we're not able to today. So, there's a lot of focus right now on multi-user and collaboration and versus single player, and we believe that will be the standard, and that's what we're all preparing for today now. And then there's other moments where it doesn't really make sense to use virtual reality, because doing something in Zoom, or I know in Verbella some of you all are in VR, some people are on this desktop. So today the level of interactivity or the ability to see another avatar's expression is still fairly limited, and that's something we're heavily focused on at HP, and look for some announcements on that in the future. We think there's a lot of area to continue to improve upon on the bioanalytics side on expression of avatars. So here I'm sharing, I was just talking about some of the things that we've been doing. We've been doing our team meetings. We've been having whiteboarding sessions. We've gone to Mars with our teams, and then we've, as I also mentioned, that we did all of this collaboration tools. So next time we're going to talk about our new product that we just announced. About 3 weeks ago, we announced it on March 23rd, which is the same day that Half-Life Alyx was launched into the world to great fanfare and great success. So as Cecile mentioned, last year we announced the HP Reverb just about a year ago. It's been out in the market for about a year. We've been really excited about it. I think that what it's most famous for is being incredibly high resolution. The resolution is 2160 by 2160 per eye. That's about 2x most of the other headsets in the market, and so it's the highest resolution headset by any of the major players. And so we also we're excited about it due to the ease of use. It's inside out tracks. You don't need any exterior or anything exterior. And then it's also one of the lighter headsets on the market. It's only 1.1 pounds. So for those of us, especially in conferences like this, or anyone who's doing a lot of product development, who spends many hours in a headset, is incredibly important to have a comfortably or ergonomic headset that's lightweight. And so now, this year, we are now in a new partnership with Microsoft, and whose Valve has been added to the partnership, and we're incredibly excited. Everyone in the virtual reality and gaming world knows Valve, one of the most renowned and biggest gaming companies out there, who runs Steam VR. And so we're now in a partnership, a three-way partnership, HP, Valve, and Microsoft, for a new headset coming soon. We can't say that much more about it yet, but we're incredibly excited, and stay tuned for some more information on that headset, because as I said, we're thrilled about the partnership and thrilled about what's coming. So now I'm going to turn it over to our great partners. We have 3 partners that we're working with, who are all going to talk about how they're using virtual reality in their business and return on investment. That's the big question that we always get. And so I'll turn it over to Matteo from Phillips. So thank you.
Matteo first.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Yep. I'm Matteo Cordua. I'm an HoloLens and mixed reality evangelist. move forward. And as they said before, this is actually our big solution now. We are Evolus Innovation. We are actually Microsoft partner since a few years now, and we actually started to adopting HP the virtual reality headsets. We will see later why. You move forward. So a little step backwards. Who is Evolus? Evolus is an international B2B company. We are based in Puglia and in the south of Italy, specialized in the research and development of digital customer experience in unconventional retail stores. All Evolus business is all Evolus business are made on models that are ready to go, and they are based on the use of disruptive technologies, such as mixed reality, Azure, artificial intelligence, Microsoft Dynamics, and cognitive services. And now, thanks to the HP device, we can actually integrate cognitive services with our solutions. So if you can step forward. This is actually how we develop our solutions. You go forward, please. Okay, so what we actually see in the market in this particular moment is that companies are still focusing their attention on the web marketing, but what we see is that the big part of transactions, of retail transactions, still happens inside store. So the idea here is actually to focus on the store experience, not only on the web experience. We can move forward. This is actually our storyline. We started with the Microsoft partnership. Then we actually become a fast track partner. That means that we are able to have HoloLens and mixed reality devices before other companies. And if you know, I think that you all know Satya Nadella. Satya Nadella quoted us at the Innovation Summit in Milan. And because the Natuzzi use case was starting to become a thing. We will see later what I'm talking about. Evolus have been quoted also in the Satya Nadella speech at Las Vegas too. Can move forward. This should be a video, but I don't know if. Okay. Yeah, this is actually the new prize we won with Natuzzi and Microsoft about the Game Changer awards for retail, and yeah, actually was a pretty good success for us. Can step forward, please. This unfortunately it's a video, but we can see later on the whole experience. I'll tell you about it. The idea here is that companies are moving from the countryside to the city center, and the problem, of course, is space. So with Natuzzi, we created an ideal store, a virtual store where they can actually showcase every product in every configuration without having them in stock. yeah, it's a bit laggy, but you can actually see it on the video. Thanks to HoloLens and of course HP Reverb, the customer can work inside the store virtually, of course, and the salesman can start to showcasing every product in every configuration to his customer. Yeah, the idea is reducing also the stock, lower spaces. I think you can go forward. The video is quite messy. Okay, so this is the customer journey. So the customer goes inside the virtual store. Then there is all the evaluation situation, the selection. So they can start to add stuff inside their virtual store or their virtual house, and start to see all the different configuration in store inside the virtual solution. Forward, please. And this is the numbers, the revenue. This is the impact on Natuzzi. Natuzzi opened the first store in the world, the first virtual store in the world in Tottenham, and this is the first data about the revenue of forward, please. Yeah, this is a video, I think. Yeah, this was a little bit for explaining the VR solution inside the Microsoft Vision. So our idea here was to actually give the possibility to Natuzzi to have device as an experience. So we choose on the market the most premium devices we could find, as the Surface Studio for the salesman, the HoloLens as a see-through headset, and the HP Reverb for an immersive experience. This is more or less how the mixed reality spectrum works in our customer journey. So the physical world starts with the salesman, so the Surface Studio, then it moves through the HoloLens and goes through the virtual reality session. And why we choose Reverb? Because it's actually accurate and optimized for high definition models, really accurate actually. The 260 panel resolution for eye, it's really amazing. Our customers love this kind of solution, and I'm talking about the B2B customer, who made the product, who see his product in virtual reality. They want to see it in the best quality possible. So that's why we actually choose the Reverb. And of course, they made a big improvement about comfortable and yeah, it's pretty immersive. Thanks to also reliability, security, and scalability of Microsoft Mixed Reality plus HP. This is our favorite features at the moment, because we are going to integrate in this particular case in the center. We are going to integrate all kind of cognitive services thanks to the dual mix with smart assistant for convenient communication while collaborating. So that should be pretty all. I hope I was clear, and if you have any questions, you're free to ask.
Thank you very much. Can I just ask the people in the front to move backwards and clear the space of the presentation, and as well the camera lady. Thank you.
And you have a laser if you want. Take slash public slash, and you have a laser for presentation.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thanks, Matteo. Maybe we have a Q&A session at the end, so
Okay, perfect.
keep your question for Matteo for a couple of minutes left now. So now let me hand over to Home. For a presentation, Matteo, and up to you, Home.
Yes, hello everybody. I'm very happy to be here virtually. So we'll see how far virtual reality can be useful to train people to fire safety. So it's called URescue, and it has been developed by our team OneAdev. So let's present OneAdev. OneAdev was founded in 2009. We are a team of 50 employees. We are based in Lyon, in France. And we are driven by technical challenges in the sense that we love doing a lot of research and development, and we love responding to specific needs by our customers that are all B2B customers. So we respond by making tailor-made solutions. We have developed, so these last 10 years, 3 expertises. The first one is web expertise. And then the second one is Web 3D with the technology WebGL. And more recently, we have developed virtual reality and augmented reality. So we also have on our shelves 3 products. The first one is Casaplan. So Casaplan is a cloud-based platform where you can draw your home in 3 dimensions. So you can draw the walls of the rooms, and then you can furnish the room and of course decorate. So it's one of the leading platforms on the market. So all cloud-based, you don't need any plugin to set up on your desktop. And it's been used until now by more than 1.5 million users around the world, so especially in Europe. And then you have the second product is called Octopod. Octopod was launched in 2017, and it's a catalog of virtual reality VR multiplayer games for location-based entertainment. We have 10 games in our catalog right now, and we use in this context lots of HP hardware. And last but not least, we have launched URescue more recently, which is also a catalog of virtual reality contents that are role-playing contents for safety training into corporation, into enterprise, so all B2B. There have been more than 10,000 people that have been trained so until now, and it's growing fast with all of our partners. So we will focus now on URescue to see how virtual reality can help for fire safety training. So let's first try to understand how the market in fire training is working. So just for memo, fire training is a mandatory into every company. So the employer has to guarantee the safety of his employees. It's very important. So on a regular basis, there are some trainers that come into the company to train each employee. So the training companies and the independent trainers as well. So they structure their services into two parts. The first one is theory. So the theory traditionally takes place into a room. So in front of 10 to 20 people. And then when you are finished, so it lasts between 30 minutes and 1 hour. So you go through practice. And the trainer has traditionally 3 types of solutions, 3 tools for his disposal. So the first one is the fire tray. So you set up this fire tray on the parking. So you need to have a parking. That's not everybody. And you put the fire, and you have to extinguish the fire that the trainer triggered. It's a good solution, but there are some drawbacks, of course. It's polluting, it's risky. I mean, there was last year in Challes-les-Eaux in France, a person that was injured with an extinguisher that exploded to his face. So that's not neutral. There are some risks, and there are other solutions maybe to avoid this risk. And one of the drawbacks of this solution as well is that it is a very weather dependent. So if it rains, you can't do this exercise outside. So an alternative is mobile training units. It has it had a lot of success in the 1990s. The advantage of this solution is that you combine theory and practice into a truck, and it's very, very quick. So 1 hour for theory plus practice. But the problem is that you have exactly the same problems, the drawbacks, as a fire tray. So polluting, risky, it requires lots of logistics. And of course, you are confined in 30 square meters, so it's not very comfortable. So there has been a new solution 10 years ago that has been launched by a famous company, which I think is very strong, very interesting, which is the laser simulator. So you are directly into the room, into the training room, so you gain time. And you are in front of a screen, and you have a flame that you have to extinguish with an extinguisher. So this extinguisher is a laser extinguisher, and it's more safer, more ecological. Of course, you don't have the heat of the fire. You don't have the smoke as well. But it's a very, very nice tool. One drawback maybe is that it's not so realistic. You just have a virtual flame. It's not very, very realistic. So what we told ourselves at OneAdev is that we were pretty sure that we could improve this solution with virtual reality. And that's the next slide. So next slide, please. Thank you. So with virtual reality, you can see that on the left here. You can train people into the room as well, but you put a headset, virtual reality headset, and it's perfect for making the learners that are occupying maybe what I call field jobs. So, for example, fire truck driver, but also maybe people that are operating in warehouses or in store, sellers. And so while you are in a training room, in a meeting room in the company, you can immerse yourself into the context of your job, in the reality of your job. I mean, the person that you are seeing here on the picture is in front of her of her tanker, and she can just see a fire that is beginning on it, and she will so operate the extinguisher and try to extinguish the fire. So there is smoke, there is a real virtual, of course, fire, but we try to be with a high level of realism. So with the HP reverb, you can see that it's a high resolution and it's a very, very realistic. We very, very believe that the future is also in augmented reality. So some trainers just want to train on the workstation. So that's maybe possible for people that are working in offices, but maybe also for people that are working in stores. So if it doesn't bother your colleagues or your customers, you can spot fire into your environment and go real and try to extinguish with a real virtual extinguisher as well. So that's where we are going. We think that this sector of fire safety training is in full digital transformation, and that's what we are doing in our company. So next slide, please. So we're very happy to launch this product, and it was at the beginning of this year, and it's called URescue. Here you can see a person with a real extinguisher, and she tries to extinguish a fire on an electrical board. There is a video, maybe we can launch it. I'm not sure it will be fluid, but if it's not, you can go on the web and go on YouTube to watch this video. It speaks for itself, and you will see how we can do this promise. So your fire training exercises for 5 minutes maximum, directly into the training room in all safety. So we move forward to the next slide. So here you can see our offer, which is structured into 3 parts. The first part is about the hardware. So we are selling 2 suitcases, and we are partnering with a French company which is based in Lyon as well. It's called Innover. So it's 2 suitcases in which we put the hardware. So 2 extinguishers, a CO2 extinguisher for electrical fires, but also water extinguisher. And we are in partnership with the 2 leading companies on the market, which are Cecile. I think it's a daughter of the United Technologies Group, American group, and a French company which is called TEZENA. So we use real extinguisher. So our partners deliver us real extinguisher that they have neutralized, and then we embed in that, we integrate electronical components so that when we act physically on the extinguisher, you can see the result of your job into the headset. And that's where we're working with HP, also with Oculus Rift. And what we love in that solution is that it's very simple. I mean, for the tracking, the inside-out tracking, optical tracking, it's quick to set up, and the trainers want something very, very simple, very quick to set up. So that's the case with this hardware. And so we package it into the suitcase. What we add on the headset is a technology which is called lip motion that allows you to see your hands, the movement of your hands, and the movement more precisely of your fingers. That's very precise, and if you can leave it in a headset, it's, believe me, very, very realistic. So then we depends on the different jobs that the trainers want to train. So we have different environments, different scenarios that we are all making inside our company by our teams, so technical teams. So you can see the level of graphics, and we address different jobs. So for people working in offices, no open space, we will see later. For people that are transporting people, for tourism, but also truck driver, for tanker. And we have developed also contents for people working in warehouses and also for sellers. We will launch in September a new scenario for, and it's in the news, of course, it's hospitals, clinics. They have to train, of course, to fire safety. So here you can see all our partners. So there are trainers, and we collaborate very tight with them to make contents that are consistent with the different jobs and that respect the regulation, of course. Then the third segment of our offer is the software that embeds the different scenarios, of course. And so we have a pedagogical support interface that enables the trainer to collaborate with the learner who is immersed into the headset. So there are some helps for safety distances, for example, when you attack the fire. And of course, we digitalize the training certificate. So at the end of the training, you have a certificate that's mandatory to deliver it to each learner and to the company, of course. So to conclude, I would like to present you the scenario in tertiary sector and how it works pragmatically. So you are immersed into an open space. So you can see the environment here, the level design. And then the learner has to act in it. So he has to apply the safety instructions. So there are 4 steps through which he has to go. So it's a real procedure. He has to do the right gesture at the right moment and in the best timing, of course. And at the end of the experience, you have a scoring that aggregates all this data. So it begins when he is in the environment by triggering the fire alarm for everybody to evacuate. Then he has to call the firefighters after having compounded the right number. Then, so he chooses the right extinguisher. So it depends on the type of fire. And then he operates it and tries to extinguish. And the 4th gesture is about evacuation. So whether you have extinguished the fire or not, you have to evacuate the room. So that's how we operate. And of course, it's very hard on a presentation to understand all the use case. You have to leave it. It's virtual reality. So it's a little bit frustrating for that. Thank you very much for this presentation. So you can.
Thank you. Are there some questions?
No, Stephen's going to talk.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Stephen from Thea.
Hey everyone, my name is Stephen Phillips. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Thea Interactive, and Thea provides a wide array of VR and AR solutions for enterprise companies trying to solve a lot of problems for 3D visualization. And this slideshow has a lot of images, but it's a very quick run through. So Cecile, you'll probably just be going next. But we can move on to the first slide. Good, next slide, please. This is one example of a typical, experiment that companies come to us for trying out virtual reality in a number of circumstances. This one was for Suffolk Construction, looking into virtual safety training, where they could build a custom app to actually inspect a construction site, identify holes in the ground, and even toggle on and off different types of safety netting to see what might work the best. Go to the next slide. And this is an aircraft simulation, but it's in augmented reality as well. And one of the great things about building content for virtual reality and thinking holistically about the whole 3D workflow is that you can build it for a number of different venues. We can move on. This project was actually one that we worked on with HP in collaboration with Epic Games and the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation. We brought to life one of Frank Lloyd Wright's lesser known projects, Trinity Chapel. And in the next slide, you'll see that it is a virtual reality experience where you could actually walk around, get some interactive pop-ups, learn more about the history and the architecture and Frank Lloyd Wright himself, and see it in a way that nobody ever could have seen it before. Next. And this is one great example of how virtual reality is not just used for proofs of concept and experimentation, but actually in real circumstances. If you go to the next slide, this is the hospital being built in Chicago by Bully and Andrews, and this is the natal intensive care unit. So it's a very small room, very important. It could easily become overcrowded with hospital staff. So we actually built this application to interactively place and maneuver different pieces of equipment in the room so that you could determine the spatial constraints, and it was used for both training of the staff, like the nurses and doctors, to get more familiar with the room before they had to start there. But also it was used during the design phase. So we can move on to the next slide. But the gas outlets in the walls, even just throughout the process of building the application for them, they were moving those around because in virtual reality, they were able to reach out and see that the arm's length and the positioning of all of these items actually wasn't ideal. And you can see that even all the cabinets and doors were able to be opened and closed for really immersive familiarization of the environment. Next. This is one really great case study that we've done. We worked with Toll Brothers out of Philadelphia. They have a huge construction project undergoing in New York City. And there's going to be like 500 housing units that they have to sell, but it takes a really long time to build that. So they came to us for a virtual reality solution that could help them sell it faster and be far more cost effective for their marketing budget in general. And I think there's about 5 images. We can just kind of go through these slowly, Cecile. So on the next one, we built them a fully rendered out, fully explorable 3-story home for a couple of their home models. And users could put on a headset in a virtual sales center, walk around, even see the landscaping out the windows. You'll see in the next slide. And this really gave them an immersive experience, provided a lot of talking points for the salespeople, a memorable experience for the end user. And if you go to the next slide, just very thoroughly detailed walkthrough to enhance the buyer's, opinion of it. But you'll also see in the next slide that not everyone has a VR headset, not everyone could make it to the VR showroom. So we were able to, because we were building it for virtual reality, for real-time rendering with Unreal Engine, we were able to also use it for traditional renders really cost effectively. So this is a really beautiful ray trace render that they used across their website and the social media. And if you go to the next slide, we were also able to expand this whole workflow to be used for a completely different flavor of VR, which would be 360-degree renders, so that it could still be used with a headset on a lightweight computer or accessible through mobile phones or traditional web browsers, trying to get the most value out of that virtual reality production, which we certainly did, because we provided them with, by the end of it, it was hundreds of renders, and we had 4K fly-through videos, but it was very low cost because we were building it with VR first. And we'll move on to the next one. Just a couple years ago, we had the pleasure of getting introduced to the HP team and doing our first project directly with them. They were undergoing construction on a new campus in Houston, and it was, they had moved all the people out of the office. It was really, basically down to the ground construction site. And yet they really wanted to generate excitement. They really wanted people to be excited for their new offices. And also, scheduling wise, there was an upcoming visit by the VP of Personal Systems. So they came to us, and we can go on to the next slide. They came to us to adapt their existing 3D models into a virtual reality walkthrough. And for the entire first floor lobby and amenities and tech area, you were able to totally explore again and see every nook and cranny of this new office space and really get excited about it. Next slide. And this hallway on the first floor spans hundreds of feet. And it was a really amazing experience because the VP of Personal Systems and of course anybody else who picked up the application afterwards was able to don the HP headset and the HP backpack and actually wirelessly walk the length of that environment instead of just using the teleportation beams that we typically use. Go to the next slide. And we also, to account for the different floors of the building, we had this teleportation system inside a hologram, so you could jump to the 5th floor to actually see the working spaces, which you'll see in the next render. And again, it's, we talked to HP employees quite a bit after this had made the rounds, and we would just introduce ourselves at a conference and they'd say, oh, you guys made the Houston campus. We saw that. In fact, I work in that office, and that was really cool to see what it was going to look like. And if you go to the next picture, and then shortly after, you can go to the next slide. This was our first experience using the VR backpack provided by HP, which was really great. Because typically you have to be tied up to a computer in one spot, do a lot of work to set up room scale. You can move on to the next picture. But with the backpack, we were able to provide a very interesting and immersive experience that also let people use the inside-out tracking to walk through those huge environments. So it wasn't just sitting in a living room and looking around. It was actually being able to physically explore the building, which was new for us as of a couple of years ago. And if you go on, this has kind of led to a lot of projects we've done for HP. They like to say that they drink their own champagne. We're here today to talk about HP providing VR solutions from computer hardware as well as the really nice high-end headsets, and they're committed to using it as well. So we worked with them even more for a few different case studies. One was this tech cafe walk-up center experience, where as part of a training and as part of a marketing for different trade shows, we helped them build an interactive simulation of what it is like to use their walk-up center service, which is a high-touch but high-tech IT service management. So you can go to the next slide. Basically, you could report an issue with your device and choose from a number of options of common use cases for what you might run into in a typical office environment. And then on the next slide, you could actually interact with the help desk person. We had an avatar there, very similar style to what's here in the room, actually. And he could talk to you with voice and text, and even you could hand him your laptop and he would open it up and tell you that he would be able to turn around in a few days. And in the next slide, you'll see that there was a bit of a exploratory feature to it while you waited, and you could see even behind the scenes the workstation and the storage closet for that HP room. So being able to use VR not just for previewing what a beautiful building might look like, but also for providing a compelling experience and a hyper-focused experience for what you're trying to communicate to a customer or to an employee for training and marketing. We've seen it all, and it's been really fun to work with HP on that. We can move on to the next stuff. And so after helping a lot of companies with a lot of virtual reality projects, we're kind of entering a new phase of THEA's business. We still have these services that we can provide to create custom content, handle people's 3D models, but we're recognizing that we do a lot of this work over and over again for those customers. And a lot of customers want to build their own virtual reality content. So you can go to the next slide. So we're building a suite of Unreal Engine tools called Optum. And Optum is meant to handle the process from beginning to end to create and produce these virtual reality experiences. The next slide. So first, there's what we call the importer. When handling a lot of these complex 3D models for architecture or manufacturing, for example, to get them to running on the headset, even if it's a wonderful computer and a wonderful headset, there's still a lot of optimization that needs to be done to the 3D models. So we've come up with a way to do a lot of that optimization in batch and basically script out recipes on how you need your models optimized for your virtual reality publications. Next slide. And we can probably just go straight to the next slide as well. This is just the overview screen showing the what you can do to preview the complexity of your model and get you ready for what you need to do to it to get it optimized. Next slide. And we also have an in-editor toolkit so that it's not just about batching it out. It's not just about automating the whole process, which oftentimes isn't possible. We provide tools so that while you're working with your 3D models, you can be doing those same common optimizations, common workflow solutions like creating levels of detail, merging objects together into groups, reducing or increasing light map resolution, all these technical things that really go into the nitty-gritty of getting scenes ready for VR. We want people to not have to think about that as much. We don't want people to have to be game developers to get their content into VR. And if you move on to the next slide. Oh, my background formatting did not come in, so the white text doesn't read. But what it does say is that Optum so far has been about automating this process and helping you edit these things faster. But there is a next phase that's coming in the next couple months. If we go to the next slide. And that is letting people get into VR collaboration far, far easier. So there are a lot of VR collaboration platforms that you could maybe upload your content to or join as an avatar right here. But so many of our customers want to be building their own experiences, customizing their own VR presentations, getting really useful design review tools that fit into their workflow. So we're aiming to make that as easy as just launching with the Optum plugin from Unreal Engine. So here you can see you can go into any scene as an avatar, see other players, get voice communication, use virtual cameras to capture nice renders, whether it's for actual marketing purposes or just to scribble on later for notes. And we'll move on to the next slide. And this can be injected into any Unreal Engine project. So it's not just for architecture, which is one of our huge focus points, but it's also for automotive or manufacturing, any type of design. Everyone is getting into VR. It's so much easier to create 3D models now, and people want somewhere to deliver their 3D models and really make it useful and understand it, 3D space. So we're trying to make it much, much easier to get there. The next slide. And just one of the ways we would do this is providing something like a boardroom, providing a series of environments, a series of helpful tools, so that no matter what your business model is, you can start using VR. Because people like HP can provide these really amazing headsets and these amazing computers, but people still have to learn the process of getting their content usable or making their 3D content useful for VR. So Thea's main mission is to make it far easier to get into that immersive type of medium and publish really impressive content. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll pass it off to whoever's next, or whether that's Q&A.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Q&A.
Great. Yeah, Q&A now.
Yeah.
So
Welcome.
there any question in the room for any one of us?
There was a question about firefighting, which was, how is the fire extinguished?
Yes, thank you for the question. So the fire is virtually extinguished by the extinguisher that communicates to the PC by Bluetooth. So you have electronical components embedded in the extinguisher. So when you press the handle, it extinguishes virtually into the headset. Is that answer? I don't know if it's answering the question.
I think so. It was just, I think they wanted to understand, what was the process to have the fire be extinguished?
Yes, the Bluetooth, BLE.
Okay. I don't see other questions in the chat, but if people have questions in the room, we're happy to answer them. You can raise your hand, or you can put it in the chat. You can come off. If you want to ask a question, you can come off mute. Sergio? Do you have a question? Do you walk into the front? So. Okay. I'll give another second or two for people to come off mute. Otherwise, we'll be here for a few minutes. If you can come up and talk with each of us individually. We also put, some people were interested in the links to the presentations, to the YouTube videos that weren't playing so well on the app, and as well as some of the HP virtual reality technology, and as well as if you want information on the next generation headset that will be coming soon, we also put a link there so you can sign up to get notified. And each of the companies have put their website in the chat as well. So thank you everyone for being here. Really appreciate your attention. There's a lot we can all be doing in the world. So glad that we're able to meet up today in France, in Verbella. So thank you again, and we'll be around if you want to come up and ask us some questions.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Hi, Penny. And then if you want these links are on YouTube too. So if people want to watch later, if they miss something or come back or share it with their colleagues or friends, you can share out the YouTube